Welcome back. Well, the theme really is in the broader markets, and a lot of stocks are buzzing around out there. So let's get straight to Jay Bala of cashthechaos.com, who joins us on the show. Hi, Jay. Good afternoon and good to see you. And this is the first time we are speaking to you in this fiscal, just 2 days into it. But it's a stock-specific market, right? So let's talk about the indices later. Let's talk about stocks first. What are the ideas you have for us?
That's right, Nigel, and wish your traders a happy new financial year. And I'm bullish on one name that's in the pharma space, About India. The structure from February's decline is a corrective decline. So the recent low of 26,400 is likely to hold for the stock, and expecting About India to hit fresh 52-week high close to about 31,000 to 32,000. Large size stock, so position size your bets accordingly. The second one is I'm bearish on Kotak Mahindra Bank, and it's one of the weakest back in the medium term. It's returned 0% in the last 3 years. So it's got a very huge pattern that's been developing for several months now. So I think that might be under play. So a stop above 1820, the recent high, and an objective first towards 1630. If 1630 were to break, I'm expecting the stock to drop to 1000. So this may not happen immediately. This might play out over several months, but the immediate objective is about 1630.
Okay, well, that's the take on Kotak Mahindra Bank. Jay, hi, good afternoon. For the Nifty, let's just talk levels and what you're seeing right now, because while the broader market is healing, it's recovering, the headline index seems to have stalled at the all-time high level. So do you see more time consolidation here? Anything specific you're picking up?
Hi, Sulvina. We discussed the ending diagonal pattern 2 Tuesdays ago, and I had mentioned that until the markets hold about 21,530, this pattern might still continue to clock higher highs. So that's what it exactly did as today. Although it printed new all-time high, the move is a limiting move. So that's the reason why this market isn't able to push ahead across. Usually fresh highs have follow-throughs, and because this is a limiting structure, the market isn't able to proceed ahead. So I'm anticipating the markets to first drop towards 22,300 and then clock fresh highs towards 22,720, maybe even 22,830. So basically the structure that you need to watch out for is a pullback, first a pullback, then fresh 52-week highs, and that's what I'm playing for. And important supports are at 21,710 and 21,530. As long as the market stays about 21,710, I think fresh 52-week highs are coming.
What about Bajaj Auto in particular? It continues to go up and away.
Yeah, Bajaj Auto, I've been bullish on all three, two-wheeler names, Bajaj, TVS, and Hero. But of these three, Bajaj is the strongest at the moment, and TVS is actually trying to taper off and starting to weaken. But I think Bajaj would also join the other two names sooner than later. But it's got little more upsides to work with. But this is not something for fresh buying. It's for people who are already long in it. They need to trail with a stop loss at about 8,700. I think it's got potential to about 9,800.
What about banks and the Nifty Bank? What are the levels there, Jay?
Yeah, the Nifty Bank is stuck between the range of 45,600 and 48,150. And there is no significant movement. But there are pockets of private sector banks which are starting to weaken. One I've already mentioned, Kotak Mahindra. ICICI is another one. So watch out for this. But as long as it's contained above 45,600, this range movement is likely to continue.
All right, Jay, I want to know particularly about HDFC Bank. The big event is going to be whether or not the FI ownership reduces. If that's the case, it gets included in a global index, and then we could see inflows. Technically, though, how that's looking?
Yeah, I think HDFC Bank is in a medium to long-term correction. So that's the reason why it's also a ranked underperformer from the frontline names, along with HUL and Kotak Mahindra. So the short-term movement is about, it got resistance to come about 1520 to 1540. I don't think any bump up will exceed that. But the medium-term trend will start to break down once the other leaders like SBI, drops below 700. Until that point, this can see a range movement.
I just want to point out that this day has been all about mid-caps, and even as we're getting into close last 5 minutes, there are so many names that are holding on to gains or actually building on gains. I'll just name some. Look at CAMS, 6.5% higher. There is Bikaji Foods, about 7% higher. Tanla, we'd mentioned earlier. Something like Godfrey Phillips, 8-9% up on Godfrey. So it's a very vibrant looking screen on mid and small caps. Lots of those names are bouncing around. Jay, since the market seems to have found its love affair back with mid and small caps, any interesting charts, anything that's coming up on your screen you'd like to talk about?
I think Godfrey Phillips that you have spoken about, I've been bullish on it for several years now. It's been one of my long-term favorites, but it's still got upsides to contend with. It's probably heading towards 4,000, 4,200. But most of these names have very skewed risk rewards. The stock placements are quite wide. So that's the reason why I avoid. And I think it's more to do with mid caps than with small and micro caps. The mid caps have one final higher high to complete, and then that will also start to turn. But whereas I see the movements in micro caps and small caps more like a counter trend bounce rather than a fresh 52-week highs process. So more caution there, but but some pockets of opportunity still exist there.
I got Linde India, just adding one more name to that list. Linde is surging as we're getting into close, 8% higher on Linde India. So just one more name, a very buoyant mid-cap screen today.
What about Zomato? Do you see a lot of upside in Zomato, Jay? The stock is up 48% this year. In the last 1 year, it's gone up to 50%.
Yes, it's still got a little bit upsides to work with, probably in the short term, not in the medium term. I'll be very cautious about this move because it's had a breakout in last year from about 60 and now it's come to 180. So it's tripled from that point. So the price structure from the recent low in March points to one final high, but it's seeing an exhaustion in momentum. So it's an avoid for me at this point in time.
All right, Jay, we'll leave it there. By the way, so you said if 21,700, which is the low, the recent low doesn't break, fresh highs are coming. Extending to what, in your opinion, Jay?
Yeah, like I pointed out, Prashant, it's 22,720 to 22,800. This is not an expanding move, so you're not likely to get a massive thrust. That's the price structure I'm working. Remember, we spoke about the ending diagonal, and I highlighted the probability of having final components to work with. It's still continuing that structure. The most important factor we haven't spoken about is because of lack of time, crude is breaking out. We're already at 89. Dollar index already broken out. There's a lot of macro headwinds that's coming up for this market. So be very cautious. For the high highs to come through, levels are 22,720 and 22,830, but it's not an expanding move.
Fair enough. We'll keep a track and have you back as we track markets over the next coming weeks as well. We've got